Hi everyone, it's been a little while since I put together a gold compilation video, so I just thought I'd do that now. Basically, this you can watch all of these videos separately if you prefer. I know some people just like these longer form videos anyway, so I thought I'd just put together a couple and you can decide whether or not you'd prefer to watch it as one big whole thing or as separate things. So it's all separate, like I said, and go check it out if you're interested. Also, just a small milestone, made it to 2 million gold, crushed it. All right, enjoy the videos. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified next time something new comes out. As always, have fun and remember, girls don't play WoW. Hi everyone, back today with another video. I was just trying a couple of different ways of making gold and I thought I'd share some of the things I'm trying with you now. So you've probably noticed I've got a surplus of Artisan's Acuity, and I haven't bought all of the recipes, but I don't think some of them are worthwhile, at least not presently. They're going to give me the potential to fill patron orders, I agree, but I don't know if it's worth going in that direction. Let me know in the comments if you think that's completely batshit and if I should go in a different direction there. But I thought I'd give a go buying the satchel of surplus supplies. And I was actually really surprised with how much gold this made. It's got a chance to drop recipes, and I didn't get that here. But if a recipe had dropped, it would have really increased the amount of gold I made. So I wouldn't depend on a recipe drop, but I definitely think it's worth factoring in the potential for it. So I bought two bags at 600 Acuity each, and what I found was I made a few thousand gold. And what I think this means is that the patron orders I've been filling, definitely going to start doing the ones that give me knowledge points, even when they are in large deficits, because I think that I can definitely recover and more the cost of the initial outlay later when I'm buying those bags. So I made almost 7,000 gold here, which is definitely making up for the loss in the patron orders. And we're just going to go look at those now. And I'm going to fill a few, and you can see that they're in deficit. But I think the ability to build up my specialization knowledge points, plus the ability to recoup that cost later, is an extremely good one. I didn't realize that there was that trade off, that it was so beneficial. I just assumed it would be kind of like the waxy box of rocks and underwhelming. So I think this is worth looking at. I mean, you should definitely prioritize recipes, the ones that you know are going to sell, or if you yourself have a lot of use for a particular recipe. So definitely make sure you've bought the ones you think have the greatest value. But I don't think it's necessarily a requirement to have all of them. So not only do I get these patron orders filled now, and I'm making a little bit of gold from all of those. But this is sort of a makeup mechanism, I think, for returning the gold you spent. It does have a delayed effect, and I suppose it's one of the benefits of having gold initially. But I don't think you should be afraid to spend negative amounts of gold to get those talent points. I also had a commenter recommend I use the vial of bountiful seasons for increasing my resourcefulness, and it's really made a massive difference. They cost about, I'm buying the silver level ones, they cost about 50 gold on my server. And what I'm doing is I'm using it all in one. So I didn't for this video just to show you how it works, but I'm using it all at once. So what I do is I take the vial and then I make a bunch of enchants. You can see I've got a lot in my bag ready for when they do spike on the auction house, because they do at random intervals. Random ones make 500 gold at a time profit, and then tomorrow might be negative 400. So having them ready in my bag is helpful, and being able to make the most out of that vial and my shatter essence when I have it is really beneficial. But I found that vial, even the silver level one, has probably increased the amount of profit I make by at least a quarter, because I'm just getting so many of the ingredients back. So definitely consider doing that. If you've got a crafting profession, you're making a lot of it, especially enchanting, really go and look at it for enchanting. If you're making a lot of it, go and grab a few and just see. It's not a very expensive outlay to just test for yourself to see whether or not that's adding value. I don't know if it would specifically for tailoring, but it's because I don't make them en masse. Like, it's definitely helpful, but it's because I don't make them en masse the way I do the enchanting. I just pair it up. I do the enchanting, and then when I have time left on my vial, I go and make the tailoring recipes Try to line this up so you're doing your patron orders at the same time at the end when you've got the vial, so you're getting as much of those ingredients, those regions back while you can. And I think it's just a really good gold saving technique. So I think it was actually Shardis who mentioned this. So thanks so much for that. It's super helpful, and go check it out. Saving me lots of gold, and I'm making more. So you can see here I'm still stockpiling, and it's been super helpful during those spikes. There are spikes during the day where things are worth more in terms of buying the regions, but also the things that they make. So being able to sell my enchants later on in the day with lower, less expensive regions is helpful because I'm not forced to buy them during the spike. The other thing I'm playing with is I've realized that I'm very close to Assembly of the Deeps level 17, I believe it is. Level 16, that every day I'm snuffling, and it says that if I reach this tier, I will get extra things while picking up my piles of dirt. So I'm very interested to see how much more gold that makes, because there's already quite a good gold farm. Doing the picking up the dirt piles initially is already a very good gold farm. And if that's increasing even by 10%, what I'm getting out of those dirt farms, it's definitely worth exploring, and I'm very close. So I've done a couple of quests today, just the weekly ones. I usually ignore the dungeon ones, to be honest, but they give you 1500 rep. So I've gone to do that, and I should tomorrow, when the reset happens, pick up the next quest and then be there. So I should be able to make a video soon letting you know whether or not it's been a big increase in terms of value. So I'll let you know in a couple of days, I guess. The other thing I wanted to say is don't do what I did. So when you level up, the quartermasters give you things. So don't accept the crests right now. Come back after season 2 goes through. Like, unless you really need them now, you're going to use them after you get them. Don't accept them. You can see just in a little bit in this video, I hand in my Titan Disc quest, and I open the box and I've got a bountiful coffer key, which, normally is fine, but now I'm going to lose it when they do the season 2, because they're wiping all of the coffer keys that we have, which is, it sucks a little bit. I should have thought it through. So don't open those boxes unless you're in a position where you really need the things within them. I think hold on to them until the reset, to be honest, until the season 2 swaps over, so you can get the benefits of those. It could be a really good way to hoard coffer keys. I don't know if there's a penalty or not for saving and then opening them all in 1 week. I don't know if it will still limit you to, I think it's 2 or 3 coffer keys a week from the boxes. I don't know. I have no idea. But right now, they're just getting erased anyway. So if you don't need to, my recommendation is don't open it. You see here, I open it, and then I have that moment where I'm like, oh, I should have left it. So I will be doing that going forward. I won't be opening these boxes, and I can make a video and let you know whether or not it was a good idea or a bad idea. I don't think it hurts because they're going to erase those coffer keys and the crests that I got from it anyway. So if I don't get it in a couple of weeks, well, I don't know if the reset is happening tomorrow or next Wednesday. If I don't get it then, it doesn't matter, because I'm not getting it now. And I have more than enough bountiful coffer keys to get me through in between now and then. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to my members. I hope you're enjoying getting this content early. So thank you, Psycho Teddy, Brit Malaka, Hello Be Thy Game, and Heretic666. I also wanted to let you know I've figured out how to do streaming. Hooray! It took a long time, but we're there. Turns out it was a setting on my computer. So let me know in the comments if that's something you want me to do monthly. I really enjoyed it. So let me know if you want me to give you more warning, because this time I just kind of logged on and was like, surprise, we're doing this. But if people are interested in engaging and having a chat while I'm streaming like that, and I really enjoyed it, so I'll definitely be doing more of it. But if you want more warning, leave a note in the comments. How long would be reasonable, I guess? How much notice do you want that a stream is coming up, so you can decide whether or not you can attend? Obviously, doing it on the day and finding out when I'm streaming is not ideal. I did find a lot of people still logged on and had a chat, so thanks for that. Thanks for rolling with it. And all those people who helped me get the settings right, I really appreciate it. So let me know in the comments what you think there. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. And as always, remember, girls don't play WoW. Hi everyone, back today with another video. This is just an update on the Waxy Glob of Wax farm from the dirt piles. I managed to get my reputation up to level 16 for the ringing deeps, which means I've got the everyday I'm snuffling level 2, and that gives you additional things when you pick up the dirt piles essentially. And I wanted to know how much that would improve the gold farm as it is. When I was checking that, I did notice there are some changes to how the globs of wax work. So, firstly, if you've been hoarding the globs of wax, you'll be glad to know that you can still hand those in for Valor to a cap of 240, and I suspect that's weekly. I imagine it would reset. So, you get 240 Valor points a week handing it in. But the Valor you still collect Valor while collecting from the dirt piles, and you'll see that in the video where I show you the actual farm. So there are still substantial ways to collect Valor from this. Once you reach the Valor cap, you get 30 resonance crystals per hand in, or something to that effect. The big change is they nerfed the gold box, and it's just so sad. So you used to get around 1,800 gold per gold box, the waxy box of coins or whatever it is, something like that. And it's now 200 gold. I picked up a couple of those to double check, just to make sure it wasn't just a weird glitch. So they have dropped that, which means, and I've run this test so many times today to give you guys this information, so much lost potential, but that's okay because it's going to help you out. So the box of rocks is, again, the best way to maximize the gold you're making from this when you're handing it in. So this is just from a handing it in perspective. If you're doing this for the Valor so you can gear up, that's great. If you're handing it in for the resonance crystal so you can buy those pets, and they sell for 8 to 15,000 gold each, depending on what faction you are, like what faction the pet is from. So there's lots of ways to make gold with this, but you can see here I got caps just there. It's 120, not 220. Sorry about that. It's 120. So you can see here I buy the boxes, and yeah, it's back to the box of rocks being the most profitable, and that's down to about 500 gold per box. So it's no longer as lucrative as it used to be. I did try to get a box of dust. I think in the end it was like 110 gold, so that was really not worth doing. So and that's even with the material going up. You can see here I tested the gold box twice in this video to prove to you guys I'm not just saying something. It really is happening. I've run this test an alarming amount of times today, so hopefully somebody gets some value out of that. What I'm going to go do next is I'm going to go and do the actual farm for 30 minutes just to see whether or not that's been changed. Like, has the drops changed, the frequency that you're getting it, what's coming from it, and how much gold I'm making. So I'm hoping for a gold improvement. I haven't actually calculated all of this yet. I'm hoping for a gold improvement based off the fact that I'm supposed to be collecting extra things now. So let's go figure it out. You'll be glad to know I sped this farm up for you so you didn't have to endure 30 minutes of it, but this is 30 minutes condensed down into about 7, I think. So you can see here that I really am collecting all the things that I say I'm collecting. So I'm just doing this in my regular gold farm area. This is in Spiderland, down the very bottom of Spiderland in that little dip. I didn't think to open the map while I was here, but it's the regular farm. If you're unclear about where it is and you're new to these videos, I talk about it a lot, so go and check it out. I did get distracted. I did this 2 or 3 times. I think 3 times. It's hard. It all melded into one today. So just to double check the amounts I was getting were consistent. So I've run this a couple of times, and I got plenty distracted by the war crates. So I think I do that once in this video. I'm not sure. We'll find out. But this was the last video I did. So the results are consistent. And the gold at the end is basically what this farm is now making. I know with the release of the new season, not with the new season, the pre-patch for the season, a lot of people are out doing the undermine quests. So I've seen that that's taking a very long time. I had some people in my guild were talking about it today, and they've been struggling at it for about 3 hours or 6 hours, he said. Somebody said that it's taking them a really long time to work through the quest chain to be able to engage with the next part. So let me know in the comments if you've been one of those people who got up at the crack of dawn to really give that a good go, to be one of the first to get into that new area. I've seen some fun things being linked coming out of the new Goblin area, and I'm really excited about that. I'm a little bit disappointed that Blizzard gave us a Goblin patch, but it's not about gold making. So, Blizz, come on, do some research. We've got a whole Goblin community here. Just a quick reminder, if you are going to do this Glob of Wax farm, make sure you check to see if there are any weekly quests like the Titan Disc quest. The Sparks of War quest, doing this in war mode gets you a bit extra. And then you can hand in the Sparks of War quest at the end, and you get the bloody tokens, the honor, and the conquest. And they can either be switched, oh my goodness, switched for things you disenchant or vendor. And that can be a good way to make a little bit of extra gold. But also the honor points allow you can save up and you can buy a pattern from the vendor, and they sell very well, somewhere between, depending on what it is, between 5 and 60,000 gold, depending on what pattern you buy and what profession it is, because people who have those professions don't want to farm these. I was one of those people. To be honest, I bought all of my PvP recipes off the auction house initially because I didn't realize how easy it was to get them myself. So definitely take advantage of that. If you're doing this farm, just make sure you've got those quests, any way that you can double up the amount of gold you're making at the same time. There are also some speed buffs you can get just to make you go a bit faster. I don't use them. They make me feel a bit motion sick, but there's definitely ways to improve the speed in which you can do this farm and the amount of gold you can make. So just have a look and see, do you have those quests, and are there any speed buffs I can put on to increase how much I'm collecting? I've also noticed as I fly around in this area in particular, there are a lot of flowers. So if you had a herbalist, if you've got multiple toons, I don't. I just have this one. I have an enchanter and a tailor. That's it for me. But if you have multiple toons, try to bring one that has herbalism, because there are lots of flowers. You can see I stop by them almost constantly. And it would be a really good way to just add a little bit extra to what you're making in this farm. You might as well pick up those flowers when you're landing beside them. Also, this is a bit of a tangent because we're watching how much I collect here to prove what I say. But the enchants today are kind of ridiculous. You might have seen that the Glimmering Haste enchant has been sold a couple of times in my sidebar. I'm selling those for 500 gold each at present with very little competition. There's just everybody's so focused on that new content, and they're buying I'm assuming the cheaper enchants off the auction house as they're gearing up, so they're going through that as quickly as they can. But there's less competition because everybody's over there. I'm not particularly desperate to get into that new content. I really do want to know what's going on in there, but I do kind of fear that if I go into there now, the server lag will be phenomenal as just everybody's in there. So I think I'll give it a couple of hours to settle down and maybe check it this evening, rather than try to get that initial wave. So it's up to you what you're choosing to do there. If you've been to that new content, let us know in the comments. Like, how good is it? And should we be afraid of the server lag? Like, should we give it a bit of a grace period there, or is it fine? I have had some people say that it's really bad, the server lag, but it could just be the computer's not keeping up. I don't know. So let us know in the comments if you've been to that new area. If you found any fun gold farms that we should definitely be getting into, I'm sure there are a few. Not as many as I would like. You just heard my rant before about goblin content, lacking gold making content. But I am excited to do the new delves and the mythics and the new raid. I'm enjoying doing the Firelands raids, so thank you to the people who suggested that to me in the live stream. I have gone back as a healer and not wiped the raid, so it was because I was distracted. But I haven't got the mount yet, but I have done it twice, and it's a much faster way of completing that time walking quest. So thank you for the people who suggested that. I know it was suggested that it could be used as a gold making technique for asking for tips with the skips. Oh, well, look at that. I just made you guys a slogan. Tips with the skips and seeing how that goes. I don't know if that's going to do well right now. I mean, it could be wrong. I think most people right now are very interested in the new content, so it might take a little while for that to come back. But I'll give that a little bit of a go, maybe next week or later this week as the new content calms down a bit, and see for myself if I can record it for you guys how much gold that's making, the tip generation aspect of it. While we're here, I just want to do a quick shout out to my members on my channel. So thank you, Psycho Teddy, Brit Malaka, Hallowed Be Thy Game, and Heretic666. I hope you guys are enjoying getting this content early. And if you're interested in getting those content early, there's a link in the description that you can click if you're interested in learning more about that or getting some fun game time with me and other things like that, joining the Discord server. So lots of options there if you want more of a personal touch. So otherwise, these videos will come out for everybody at some point. There's just going to be a delay. So you will still get access to the content. I also want to thank everybody who likes, comments, and subscribes on these videos. It's free for you and it's super helpful for this channel. It really does make a big difference, just that few seconds there to click on the link, to click on the like button. So consider it if you haven't already, and thank you to everybody who already has. So we're getting to the end of the farm here, and you can see here I'm trying to squeeze in a couple more dirt piles just to really try and get it as close to 30 minutes as possible. And we'll just finish this up and then we'll go. I won't make you sit here while I fly between here and the Ringing Deeps to hand in the little waxy globs, because like I should be waiting until next week to hand those in for the Valor. But for the point of this video, I'll hand them in so you can see the swap for the box of rocks, so we can see the value there added to the value of the farm to figure out what the total gold per hour is. Now remember, we did this in a 30-minute interval, so the gold would have to be doubled to give us a realistic gold per hour. So we're going to go hand those in now, and it's just in the Ringing Deeps. It's pretty easy. You can see here I'm just getting the resonance crystals, and it's because I've reached the cap for Valor for the week, handing these in already. It was really easy. I already had a stacked up pile, but you can see here it's super easy, and the resonance crystals aren't that bad. You can swap those for pets and they sell pretty well. I sell Tiberius, the Tiberius pet from Hallowfall, 2 or 3 times a week at between 5,000 and 13,000 gold, depending on the day. So it's definitely a lucrative field to get into in terms of it's 30,000 gold roughly a week selling that pet. So we'll just head on over to the auction house and we'll do some calculations and we'll figure out how much gold we made for this 30-minute farm. Okay, so I'm going to go list all of this stuff on the auction house now. And you can see here, some of it is quite valuable. And the thing about this farm is that it's so diversified in terms of materials. It really helps to cushion when there are blows to the market. But for this 30 minutes, I made 5,300 gold. And that's not counting anything I made from completing quests while doing this. So it's not counting the Sparks of War quests that I finished or any Titan quests or anything like that. So 5,300 gold for 30 minutes. If we times that by 2, it's 10,600 gold per hour. This is raw gold. And like I said, it's not counting anything else you can pair up with it. If you can pick up herbalism and do it at the same time, there's a lot of gold to be made here. So it's not as lucrative as it once was. The cost of the box definitely had an impact, but it's still definitely worthwhile doing. And it'll help you bring some gold in while this next patch is going. That's it for this video. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button if you found anything useful or of value in here. And as always, remember, girls don't play WoW. Hi everyone, back today with another video. This is just a video basically about the auction house again. We've done a bit of talking about that in the past, but right now with the beginning of season 2, it's a really crazy time to be making gold. In just this video, I made 240,000 gold per hour on the auction house, and I was able to sustain that for about 3 hours. Normally I don't spend this long on it, but I was just really interested to see how long I could do it for, I think. So I don't normally spend this much time. But you will notice that I was doing this largely through enchanting. So enchanting is making an insane amount of gold right now, especially the silver level in there can be made with the bronze material, especially if you've got a concentration build and you're spec'd into just having the ability to make the enchants to the highest level possible. Being able to make them at silver level with the bronze ingredients, the bronze regions, is really making quite a lot of profit. Some of the enchants are making 300, 400 gold profit per sale. So when I say I'm making 240 gold per hour, not all of that is profit because I am making things and listing them on the auction house, but I am for the most part making about 30 to 40% profit Some of them more, some of them less. It just depends. But it's definitely a really good time to. So you can see here that I did this on reset day, and I've had a lot of people ask me about reset day and what I mean there. The day that you get your great vault piece, the day that the raids are restarted, the day that lockouts end, that's what I mean by reset day. For me, it's Wednesday. On my server, it's Wednesday. And on Wednesdays and sometimes Thursday mornings, things just sell for so much more. If you have the ability to wait, do it. So you can see here I have this huge backlog of enchants that I've been making during the week, and I'm listing that now. I'm selling the ones that are selling for profit. And that's just giving me a bit of a leg up because I made these with my potions and with my shattered essence earlier. You can see in this video I actually make more enchants because they're just selling faster than I had anticipated, and I will have a higher stash set aside for future just because at least in the next couple of weeks, because they're just going so fast. But with reset day, everybody gets their great vault piece or they've got their crests. What everybody wants to do is upgrade their gear. And that's really good for enchanters because everybody who's upgrading their gear wants to put the new enchants on. Because if you're upgrading your gear at the moment, I would say, you're probably part of some sort of a raid progression or a mythic progression, and you want to be ready for the next raid. My guild raids on Thursdays, as an example. So I want to be getting as ready as I can on Wednesday and Thursday morning for that raid. And I can't be the only one in that position because the prices here say that's exactly what's happening. So because of that, the things that sell for substantially more, so gold level enchants, if you make them during the week and stack them up and then sell them on reset day or the day following reset day, you're going to make a lot more gold than if you're trying to sell them the day before reset day. And like I said before, reset day is just the day that all of those lockouts unlock. You get your daily quests again. You can go and do the raid again for loot. You get your great vault piece. That's what I mean by reset day. Reset day also works for your professions. So as an enchanter, the knowledge points that I get don't come through my patron orders the way they do for tailoring. So the knowledge points come through either crafting something new for the first time or disenchanting each week. So I think there are 10 knowledge points you can get. I've never actually counted them, to be honest. I think there are 10 knowledge points you can get through disenchanting every week. And what I do is I disenchant on reset day, which is for me, again, Wednesdays. I disenchant all of the things that I've been saving for the week, all of my disenchanting items that I've been saving for the week on that day. So I get my knowledge point boost for the coming couple of days. So I'm able to do more with that in terms of gold making. And then once I've reached the point where I'm no longer getting those knowledge points out of my disenchanting, I save the items that I can disenchant for the next reset day. So I'm getting all of those points at the very beginning of the week when they are the most profitable in terms of being able to turn that into gold making. If I was to disenchant, so I've been doing that BOE run with the Weaver cloth, and you guys have seen that. I haven't actually done it since the video, so I should go do that again. But you've seen how many BOEs I got with that. I didn't disenchant them all the week I got them. I saved them so I could disenchant them the following week because I was no longer getting the knowledge points for enchanting from it. So sometimes goal making is smarter, not harder, in the sense of what is the most strategic way with the least amount of effort that you can make the most amount of gold. And that's what I do. And I'm happy to try and share that with you. And that's what I'm trying to do with the videos here. What can you do as a casual player who's not as interested in maybe some of those gold farms to make enough gold minimum, enough gold to cover your raid bills, or hopefully more on the end of what I'm doing, enough gold to pay for your subscriptions and hopefully expansions if that's something you're looking for in the future, because I certainly am. I'm definitely curious to see if I can do that. After this video, I made it to almost 2 million gold. So I made a lot of gold here in this initial, and this is a short-lived sort of experience. I think each time a new raid tier comes out, this will happen again, especially for enchanters in particular. I know that there are kind of times where the desire for enchants are low, but I think that was an end of season thing. I do think the amount of gold you make as an enchanter in the beginning of the season is going to offset anything you're not making at the end of the season, because it just comes in such a big boom cycle for enchanters. You can see here in this video, I'm making lots of gold on enchants. I'm even doing it right now as I'm recording this video. I'm pausing what I'm doing here to tab back into WoW to relist, particularly the Chant of Winged Grace. And I'm just listing that 8 at a time and then coming back every 10 minutes and listing 8 more. And they're selling. I've already made, just in the time span of recording this video, the audio for it, I've already made 50,000 gold. And that's while doing other stuff. So it's very easy to make gold right now. And so many people are buying these enchants that fighting to be first in line isn't all that relevant because they're just going faster than most people can keep up with it. So definitely go and check what's going on and what you can make. This is where having some of those regents stored early helped because I was able to buy a lot of storm dust. I've had to actually start buying it again now, but I was able to buy a lot of storm dust at the low of 6 gold and 70 silver or something like that. I was able to stock up a lot on that at the time, and that's really increased my profit margins. I had to start buying it again. That's how many enchants I've made. I had something like 10,000 storm dust put away, and I've had to buy more. I've just bought probably another 10,000 while making this video. So that's just how many enchants I'm making and how fast it's going through. So this is definitely a really good time to be jumping on, especially if you've got an enchanter and making some of those and listing them. I'm doing this in the middle of the day as well. So you can see the time here. As I'm recording this video, it's 11 a.m. on a Saturday. Even now, in the middle of the day, I'm still making lots of gold at present. I also just wanted to say a reminder for anybody who's new to be the first in the line on the auction house. You don't have to undercut. And with enchants, it's shooting yourself in the foot. Don't undercut. I see some people who are the enchants are selling for, I don't know, let's say 400 gold, and then somebody goes along and then lists it for 80 to be first in the line. That's just, it makes no sense. Don't do it. Just being the most recent person to have put the thing on the auction house puts you at the front of the line. You don't have to change the amount at all. And undercutting to 80 is not going to help because all of the people who were selling at 400, as long as they're still making profit, they're just going to get in front of you in the line anyway. So when you think about how much gold you're making, you're going to make a lot more gold selling one enchant at 400 gold than you will selling 5 at 80. So just really think it through. Double check how much you're making before you list the auction. You really want to make sure you're making this in profit. So some of these I make them even when they're not in profit. So for example, the Chant of Wings Grace, when I stock up on this during the week, I ignore what it's saying because I'm not listing it on the auction house. I know it's going to sell for more on reset day. So I just create my stockpile during the week. Even if they're selling for 700 gold, then I know on reset day I'm going to be able to sell them for 900 to probably 1500 gold, depending on how good that wave gets. So really just pay attention, make sure you are making profit, and don't undercut to be first in the line. You don't have to undercut to be first in the line, and you might as well make as much gold as you can while you're at the front of the line. When you're making your enchants, don't forget to use that vial of bountiful seasons. It really makes a big difference. If you're getting even one storm dust back, you're making more gold than you were without it. And it takes very little to actually be in the profit. On my server, I did buy these before season 2 started, so I don't actually know if the price has changed. But when I bought them, it was about 48 gold for a silver one. And I bought a bunch of them. And as long as I save at least 2 storm dust, I've made profit. And I do substantially more than that. I use the vial, I use my shatter essence, and then I make a big block of enchants all at once. And then if I've still got time at the end, I go and do my tailoring patron orders. So I'm getting as much back from those as possible. I'm definitely prioritizing using it for my enchanting because it's just so material intensive and I sell so much of them. So it's become my priority. But using that vial, it's really made much more gold. So definitely consider spending gold to make gold because this vial, I wish I'd known about it sooner. And thank you to the commenter who brought it to my attention. I just wanted to say in the time spent of making this video, I've been listing stuff on the auction house while I'm doing the recording for this and doing the editing. And I've sold 40 a chant of Winged Grace, the silver level ones, just while recording this video in the time span of about 20 minutes. So seriously, if you're an enchanter, go and make the Chant of Winged Grace. I'm making about 200 gold profit on each. And I'm just listing them, coming back, doing work, going back, listing more because they've all sold. So definitely go and check that out. It's easy money. Also, as a side note, don't forget now is the Darkmoon Faire. I know there's a lot going on. I haven't been there since season 2 started, so I haven't engaged with it, even though it makes me lots of gold. I've just been so into all of the new content. I did manage to sell the Darkmoon Fire water for 250 gold each, so I made a lot of gold on that. And I do suspect that if you can make time to get to the Darkmoon Faire now, there are lots of people who would normally be doing it, like me, for example, that aren't, because they're doing the new mythics, they're doing the new raid, they're making lots of gold in other directions. And I think that might mean that the firewater sells for more gold halfway through between the Dark Moon Fairs because there are less people collecting it. So if you're not interested in the new um, raids or mythics, or if you're more of a solo player, or gold farming is just what you really love, or you just want to spend 4 hours fishing, don't forget to go to the Dark Fair and do a little bit there, because I think not only is it already a good way to make gold, even when it was competitive, I think at the moment it will make a little bit more gold than normal. So stocking up on those Dark Moon firewalls now could be really beneficial. You could really reap the benefits of that about 2 weeks from now. You guys have probably noticed I haven't made as many videos. I've taken a bit of a step back since I started this channel. I've been putting a lot of work into it, and each video takes me a long time to make, edit, record, and put together. It's taking a lot of time away from my family, which is fine. I don't mind doing it. But I have decided to slow down on the video creation just a little bit. Hopefully you guys understand that I'm trying to spend a little bit more time with my family. These videos, they are making me actual money now that I'm monetized, and I will make a monetized video on that. It's just not very much. I think I make $9 a video or something like that. The more everybody likes and comments on it, the more the algorithm shows it to people. So I do really well on the videos where people give me a comment. So thank you to all of the people doing that. It does help make this more of a financial direction. I do love WoW, and I do showing people how to pay for WoW, making gold, pay for their subscriptions, making gold. So yeah, thank you for everybody who's helping me support that. I just wanted to give a special thanks to my members. Out of everybody is helping, and that's super helpful, but my members, the signing up to get that early content, I'm hoping it's just as helpful for you as it is for me. It helps give me a little bit of like financial support in developing some of the things I need to make these videos better, like a better microphone, a better editing program, and all of those things that come with a better internet speeds. And it's really helping to build that up so I can make better quality videos for you guys and everyone involved. So thank you. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can check the link in the description. It comes with all sorts of perks. You can choose what tier you like. There's just a support me one. If you want to help support my coffee addiction, that's there. But there's also options for early access to these videos. There's options for the top tier, lets you join my Discord server and play the game with me, do some of these gold farms. We can hang out in raids or delves or whatever it is that you feel like you want to do during that time. So if that's something you're interested in, go and check it out. If you're not in a position to do that financially, or it's not something that interests you, again, a comment is also super helpful. So thank you. That's all for this video. You can see here on the auction house, I'm making insane amounts of gold selling enchants right now. So go and check that out if you have an enchanter. As always, remember, girls don't play WoW.
Hi everyone, just back with a quick video about the stuff I sold today. I just thought I'd show you the mailbox open, and you can see here I sold a lot of enchants. So when we look at this one, this is just one of those bronze level one. That auction has cut hurts, which is why it's important to make sure the profit margins are not squeaky, just to really make sure you're actually getting something out of that. But I sold a lot of enchanting stuff today. You can see some tailoring things snuck their way in there. There was this exquisite weaver cloth. I got this for filling an order, and it came through as one of my resourcefulness procs. And I just listed it on the auction house. So I got an extra 600 there on top of that tip. But lots of stuff sold, and I'll open it in a minute. We'll see how much sold in total. But it was definitely a really good day on the auction house. So we'll just open this, see what happens there. You can see here the numbers going up. It's always nice when it does that. Wow. Look at it going. All right. So we made 216,000. That's so much more than I thought it was going to be. 216,000 gold today, which is pretty nice because I played WoW with my wife the other day, and then she was heavily hinting that she needed that Tundra Tribal Mammoth, this one. So sharing after playing repair mounts or using vines turns out playing WoW can get very expensive when you do it with your partner. So I gave her a chunk of gold to go do that with, but oh, look, I've made a friend. Look at that. All right. So that's all for today. I hope your day was as good as mine, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hi everyone, back today with another video. This is just another one basically to show you some of the changes that have happened with this new patch. So some of our regular gold routines that we've been doing have changed a little bit. So I just thought I'd show you here. I've had a lot of people ask me where am I getting my enchanting mats for to make the things in profit. So basically I make lots of silver level enchants and I am making profit on those. And what I do is when I come across the BOEs and things like that, or the soulbound things when I'm doing my delves and just the world content, I keep those and I disenchant them. Unless they're going to sell, sometimes they do, sell for more money than I will get out of the enchants, the disenchanting. And then I just buy enchanting things with them. So that's not the only way I'm doing this, but you can see here that I've got quite a large stockpile. Now, some people have mentioned that the cost of storm dust is quite expensive, and it is. They're not wrong. 12 gold per storm dust is very expensive, but it's not that expensive if you buy it before reset day. So I think the problem people are coming up on is that they're not prepared before reset day. So if you're buying the enchanting mats, it's the day after reset day for me, the second day. So if you're trying to buy the enchanting mats today or even yesterday, they're going to be so much more expensive than if you bought them the day before reset day happened. And reset day is when everything resets. The raid lockouts change, you get your Great Vault piece, PvP lockouts change. They all reset. That's what I mean by reset day. You want to be buying your enchanting materials off the auction house before reset day because that's when they're going to be the cheapest. Ideally, you want to be buying them during the day if you can. So if you can work out some way to buy them at like 2 p.m., if you can do that, somewhere between 2 and probably 4, is when things seem to be the lowest on the auction house the day before, at least for me. So that's when I'm buying the majority of them. But if I'm logged on, because you can see here, I spend a lot of time just putting things on the auction house. I have a lot of things at any one time. I have about 300,000 gold worth of items on the auction house. And when I'm on there, if I see the storm dust and I've got it favorited, if I see it at a cheap price, if it's 10 gold or less, I'm buying it, whether or not I had a lot of it already, because I'm just going to use it. So try to be smart about when you're purchasing it, because the people you're competing with are very likely people who did think about profit margins come reset day. So that it's going to be less competition if we can list it and make 50 gold and enchant as an example, compared to people who have to buy the enchants today and can't list it at profit. So that's what's going on there. So for a little bit there, I was getting my BOEs for disenchanting, and I sold some of them on the auction house, from the cloth farm. So there was a cloth farm in Undermine. It's been nerfed now. It no longer exists. So hopefully some of you got in on that while it was still existing. I made an insane amount of gold while it was going. I bought a token out of it. And you can see here I'm at 1.6 million or something like that, very close to it anyway. And that's after the token. So the gold farm was incredibly lucrative. Somebody mentioned that the BOEs don't always sell well, and they're absolutely right. I'm not a fan of selling transmog in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes BOEs, though, are worth considering, especially at the very beginning of an expansion of a season. Those higher level BOEs, they will sell if you are fast. If you're one of the first load of people selling those BOEs, you will make a lot of gold. I did make a lot of gold. I didn't make 44,000 gold like it was indicating I would. I ended up selling the BOEs for about 20,000 gold, the ones that did sell, and then the rest of them I disenchanted them and got about another 10,000 gold out of that in terms of enchanting mats. So I made a lot of gold just from that one run that I showed you in that video. So the thing there is being fast. So the other thing is there's been a couple of things I was going to make a video on here, for you guys, but what I like to do is I like to triple check things and how much gold they're making. But what I'm realizing is Blizzard is just really fast at nerfing things, especially at the beginning of a season. So like that Undermine Cloth Farm, I did get to make a video on that, but it was nerfed. There was another one where you got like this little, I can't remember what it's called. You got this little thing out of the delve and you could sell it, and it sells for like 30,000 gold. I sold two of those. But now they're warbound. So perhaps I should be making these videos. Let me know in the comments. Do you want me to share these videos for things I'm finding I'm making gold as soon as I find out they're making gold? Or do you want me to continue to triple check whether or not these are things that consistently make them? Because I made a lot of gold on these two gold farms, but they have been nerfed. So it was like a time crunch type thing. And I suppose it's hard to know what's going to be nerfed until Blizzard does it. I know a lot of people got caught out holding BOEs from the raid before Blizzard turned them into Warbound. And even people who had them on the auction house got them delisted and then they were Warbound. So there are a lot of changes going on as Blizzard tries to work it out. And if you're very quick with some things, you can make a lot of gold. So let me know in the comments, do you want me to share these gold making things I'm coming across in the beginning of the seasons as I'm coming across them, even though I haven't done all of the verifying and the triple checking for how much gold these things are making? Do you want me to just share them with you right away? And another way to be getting these enchanting materials are delves. I know not everybody's into delves, but not only do you get a lot of gear at the end of delves, especially if you're doing bountiful ones, you've got pretty good chance there of having a fair bit to disenchant, and then also a piece of gear that's probably pretty good. But also you're getting those undercoins, and you can exchange those for the bag, and that bag gives you the materials you need to make enchants. Now, I do a lot of delves. I really love delves. I do a lot of delves, but I am by no means covering my enchanting mats this way. I am still having to buy them off the auction house. It's just another way to kind of increase profits. I'm going to do the delves anyway. I like the delves. I want the gear. I want to be able to do better in my guild raid and things like that. So I'm going to be continuing to gear up like this. So it's just thinking about what's the best way for you. You can get these BOEs and soulbound things going, questing, the world quests, or just regular questing. Lots of quests give you pieces to disenchant. So there's also the follower dungeon. I've talked about it quite a lot. You can go check out that video. But there's the follower dungeon you can do for the cloth farm if you're a tailor. If you're a tailor and an enchanter, you can do that cloth farm. You can turn them into pioneer gear and then you can disenchant them. You can get a lot of gear that way. I think though it would be more profitable to sell the raw materials on the auction house and then use that gold to buy the enchanting mats. I think you'll get more that way, but double check it. Whenever you're making things with your enchanter, you definitely want to be using the Vial of Bountiful Seasons and Shatter Essence. You want to be specced into that so you're getting the most resourcefulness and concentration if you've gone in that direction. I've specced in both concentration and resourcefulness because I do the gold level enchants. They make me lots of gold, but I can only make so many of those a week. Even specced out the way I am, I can only make so many of those a week, but I can make unlimited silver enchants. So being able to get as many resources back on making those silver level enchants as possible is a good way to improve the profit margins by a substantial amount. You will more than make back the gold of that vial. So just make sure you stock up on some. Again, if you can get them before reset day, ideally the day before reset day, before all the prices spike up, because all of the people who weren't prepared before reset day are trying to profit on reset day, and that's when the most gold can be made from those people. So I suppose the idea is don't be the people. Try to be ready the day before if you can. Also, I wanted to mention from a tailoring perspective, so I'm making insane amounts of gold on my enchanter. But from a tailoring perspective, I was making, prior to the season launch, a lot of gold on the pioneer gear and the accessory gear. That has slowed down substantially. So the accessory gear is still selling, but I'm no longer selling 2 to 3 pieces of each a day. It's more like 2 to 3 pieces of each a week. Now, the pioneer gear it's a bit funny. So I am selling less of it, but it is selling for more. So I think I'm actually making around the same amount for the Pioneer gear, but with less materials. So I'm probably making more now, just less of them are selling. And it's a lot harder to be the front of the line because it's not selling as fast. So I'm finding before season 2, I was able to just list it all, walk away, come back, and go to my mailbox, and I'd sold stuff, and that was awesome. But now, because they're selling slowly for such a high price, if you're not the front of the line, you're not selling that gear. So when I'm doing my enchanting flips, I'm showing you a little bit of how I do it here. I'm not as dedicated as I would normally be. I like to do the enchanting selling on the auction house when they sell insanely fast. If I'm not keeping up with it, if I'm struggling to keep up with it, that's the day I really want to be doing the enchant selling. So I'm not putting too much effort into it today. And you can still see I made, by the end of this video, 20,000 or 30,000 gold in sales. But when I'm checking the listing there, I'm checking also to see if my pioneer gear and my accessory gear is at the front of the line. Just because if it's not selling. So this is just a quick reminder before you go off into the wild and do your things. Just double check whether or not any of the weekly quests overlap with what you're doing. Like yesterday, I did my raid with my guild. We did our 2-hour raid night, and I forgot to check the quests, and there was a Titan disc quest, and I could have finished it. We did a lot of bosses in that raid. I could have finished that Titan disc quest, and I just didn't pick it up. But it would have been an overlap with what I was doing and gold making. So just double check is there a quest for what you're already doing. Go and check the Sparks of War quest from the PvP guy at the front of Dawn. Go see what area it's in. Can you go do something in that area? Like if you're gonna, I think at the moment it's in Undermine this week. If you're gonna chill in Undermine anyway and do the quests there to unlock the car and all of those other things, just pick up the quest and do it in war mode. Do be mindful though, in war mode, you can get squished by the horde cars. That happened to me. So don't AFK in war mode. It wasn't the best decision I've made today. But yeah, so aside from that, I don't have any problems with war mode. I'm very good at getting squished by the cars in that raid anyway, so it's not particularly a PvP thing. It's a me thing. So just go and see whether or not any of those quests are overlapping. Is there another way for you to make gold with what you're already doing? And quite often those world quests do have an overlap. Like I said, the Titan disc quest, you could do that for the delves, you could do that for your raids. The PvP guy, I only do the Sparks of War, but he has a bunch of ones that you can do in battlegrounds and things like that. So just go and see. So that's really a basic rundown of all of the things I've noticed have changed gold wise with this new season, and some of the things I'm going to be making alterations to in my own gold farms. I'm going to make an updated daily gold routine video. I've made a couple of those in the past where I just show people what I do kind of daily or every second day because I'm not always on what I'm doing to make gold. So just so people can watch that, because I will actually show you how I'm making gold. I mean, I'm showing you a little bit here, but I've done a lot of talking about the other things. I've chosen to do this kind of video today because the gold routine video takes a fair bit to put together, and I'm learning, like I mentioned before, if I don't tell you guys about these things sooner, sometimes you miss out because I just didn't get time to tell you before Blizzard nerfed it. So I'm telling you now, but I will make a follow along video for anybody interested in that as well. You've probably noticed these videos have slowed down a bit. I've got a lot of book releases coming out. I've got one coming out on Tuesday, Accidental Time Travel and Other Poor Life Choices. So that was a lot of fun to write, but it did take a lot of time away from the WoW, the gaming part of it. So I'm just kind of split focused because I'm like a squirrel on my ninth cup of coffee. It's impossible for me to focus on a single thing. So I'm just kind of everywhere all at once. So that's why these videos have slowed down a little bit. But once this book launch happens, I think it'll speed back up again. So thanks for being patient with me during that. I'll put a link in the description for anybody interested. You're probably not. It's completely insane and totally ridiculous, but it was lots of fun. But if you're interested, it's down there. If you found this video helpful, give this video a like or a comment or subscribe if you haven't done that already. It's free for you and it's super helpful for this channel. It helps the algorithm show it to other people who might be interested in paying for their WoW subscription. So I just wanted to give a special thanks to Psycho Teddy, Brit Malaka, and Heretic666. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being my members. I hope you're enjoying the members only content and being able to ask specifically for me to make a video to answer your questions. I hope you're enjoying that and those comments and the priorities. I think that's really come through the last couple of days where I've been just so busy with this book launch. I've only been able to really prioritize answering the member comments and working on the content they're asking for there. So if you want to be part of that group and if you want to be able to request content specific to you to stay in the members content area, give me sign up and leave a comment and I'll go do that for you guys. That's really all for this video. I will make a couple of others to help explain the routines. Like I said, I would. It is coming. It's just going to take, it takes a lot of time in editing to put that video together, but it is coming for anybody interested. I am going to do a stream probably towards the end of this month if anybody's interested in that. I'm thinking it will be on a Saturday. You will probably hear the wild screaming of my children in the background, just so everybody is aware that that's a possibility there. But I'll give you guys a date further closer to the date when I'm going to do that. So that's all for today. Go out into the wild, make lots of gold, and always remember, girls don't play WoW.
Right, everyone, that's the end of the compilation. If you found it enjoyable or helpful in any way, don't forget to give it a that lets the algorithm know who else to show it to. It's just a free way for you to help out the channel. As a side note, if you're looking to support this channel further, you can join our membership option. It's got lots of fun things in there, like you get these videos early. I tell you gold making tips as they pop up. So if I'm on the auction house and I'm noticing something's making a lot of gold, I make a video right away and I tell my members. So there's been a couple of times where I've shared with people as it's happening enchants that are going insane on the auction house and just other things that I come across while doing my daily adventures, really. If you'd like to be part of that, don't forget to check it out. It's just another way you can support this channel. I hope you found some good ways to make gold, and as always, remember, girls don't play WoW.